Elaine here, countryhomeandheart.net is my website, and today I'm going to make an old-fashioned pineapple upside down cake. Now, I believe this recipe probably goes back to about sometime in the 1950s. My mom and my grandmother both made it this way, and at least my mom did until they came out with the pineapple upside down cake mixes, and she kind of switched over to that. But I always remember my grandmother saying that they tasted like the box, so she would not use a mix if her life depended on it. But we're going to go ahead and get this recipe started. So hang on, and I'm going to turn you down so you can see and bring you a little closer. There we go. Okay. Now in my cast iron, this is about a 10-inch cast iron skillet, I have melted 1 stick of butter. And to that, we're just going to sprinkle in some brown sugar. Just like that, just kind of sprinkling it around, getting it as even as I can. This is really an easy cake to make too. It's not, I don't think it's that much more time consuming or that much more difficult than the cake mixes that you get for this, and it's so much better than cake mix. I kind of agree with my grandmother. I haven't used a cake mix in ages. It's kind of rare for me to use a cake mix, but okay. And now we have our pineapple or brown sugar sprinkled around here. Now I'm going to take my pineapple slices, and we're just going to put our pineapple slices in. Now you can also add maraschino cherries to this in the center of each one of these pineapple rings, but unfortunately I don't have any, but it's just as good without it. It works just as well. And I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees. And I will, and also I wanted to let you know that I'm going to list the ingredients down below, as I usually do, so that if you want to try this recipe, you can. And I have a couple of little pineapple rings left, so I'll probably just eat those later on. Somebody told me that you can take 2 pieces of bread and put the pineapple, put some mayonnaise on it, put the pineapple on there, and it's really good, but I've never tried it. But anyway, okay, so that part is done, and we are ready to, we're ready to mix the cake. So I'm going to move you over to where I'm going to be mixing the cake up, and I will be back shortly. Okay, I'm back, and I'm ready to start mixing the cake part. So hang on just a minute, and I'm going to turn you down so you can see and bring you up a little closer. There we go. All right. Now in my mixing bowl, I have 1 stick of softened butter, and it is at room temperature. And to that, I'm going to add 2 eggs that are also at room temperature. Just dump them right in. And I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And I'm going to put them on my mixer. Let's move you so you can see. I'm going to put them on my mixer. And I'm going to cream that together until it is light and fluffy. So, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and do that, because it's going to be very loud and also tends to make my little camera jump, and we don't want the camera shake. So I'll do this off camera, and when I get this creamed and ready to add the other ingredients, I'll be right back. Okay, I have creamed that, and you can see that it is kind of, it's changed its color. It's more of a light yellow color now, and it's very, very fluffy, and that's what we want. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is pure vanilla extract that I'm using. And I'm just going to pour that in, just like that. And I'm going to just mix that in. Just take a second. Alright, There we go. That should be enough right there. So I've got my vanilla mixed in. I'm just going to stir that a little bit to make sure. Okay, let's give that just a little more. Sorry about the camera shake. I know that that camera tends to shake when I do that, but I wanted to make sure that I had that mixed in well. And I do. And this is nice and fluffy. So now I'm going to take this off of the mixing stand because I'm going to do this with a spatula. Let me turn you down so you can see. Okay, and what I'm going to do, grab a little spoon here. Okay, I'm going to take about 1/3 of my flour mixture, and I'm going to start mixing that in, just like that. Just let me get my spatula. I think my spatula would work a little better for that. Okay, so we're going to just start mixing that in. And then to that, I'm going to add, I have 1/2 cup of whole milk, and I'm going to add about half of that whole milk. That's more, like half. And we're going to stir that in. You can probably hear my little dog behind me, her little claws on the floor. She always has to come in when I'm doing something like this to see what Mama's doing. And hopefully her mama will drop something. That's what she is hoping for. That something will hit the floor and she can grab it before the other dog gets it. Alright, and here let's add, I'm going to add about another 1/3 of my flour. We're going to stir that in. This is an old time honored way of stirring up homemade cakes, is to add the milk and the flour, or the liquid and the flour alternately, and you always begin and end with the flour mixture. It's just the way that scratch cakes have been done all this time, all these years, and it's a tried and true method. It does work very well. Okay, and I'm going to add the rest of my milk. I'm going to stir that in. Now what I had forgot to tell you was that flour, I sifted it and measured. I sifted it first and then measured it, and that is also self-rising flour. So it already has the salt and the baking powder and all that already in it, so it's going to rise and on its own. So that is 1.5 cups of self-rising flour that has been measured first and are sifted first and then measured. Okay, and we're just going to stir this a little bit more here. We've almost got it mixed together. Okay, it's beginning to look pretty good here. Okay, let's get that off of there. Now I'm going to grab my paddle and stick that back on that mixer. And what I want to do is just put that back on. Let me clean my hands off a little bit. There, so you can see. I'm just going to put that back on the mixer for just a few seconds. I just want to make sure we have it mixed well. So we're just going to put that on there for just a few seconds, and that ought to do it right there. Alright, grab my spatula, and we're going to scrape that beater off good. And there is our cake batter. Alright. Okay, so let me turn you down here for a minute. And I'm going to grab my pineapples, and here they are. And let me get this off. Alright, and now I'm just going to take my cake batter and just spoon that right on top of those pineapples, just like that. And kind of spread that around a little. And it doesn't matter if that butter and that the juice comes up on the side of that a little bit, like that. It won't hurt a thing, and it actually will make it better. It'll taste really good when that happens, so that's fine. That's not going to hurt a thing. Okay. Get that scraped in. Alright, and there we are. There is our pineapple upside down cake ready to go into the oven. Okay. Now I'm going to bake that at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. I'm going to check mine and start checking mine in about 20 minutes because my oven tends to be a little bit hot, tends to cook fast sometimes, so I want to make sure that I don't burn this. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in the oven, and we'll be back when I'm ready to take it out. Okay, I'm back, and my pineapple upside down cake has been in the oven for 28 minutes is what it took in my oven, and it got done. So let me turn you down so you can see. Okay, so what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to loosen these sides because I don't want this to stick. So I'm just going to make sure that nothing on the sides of this is sticking. Okay, and now this is going to be the fun part. Let me turn you so you can see. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take my pan and just flip it up and turn this out. And this is, again, this is the fun part. So let's see how it goes. Wish me luck. All right. You see it came out. Let me drop my pan in the water here. And I just had one little pineapple slip off, and that's okay because all you got to do is put it right back on. And this one moved a little bit as well. Okay, and there is our pineapple upside down cake. And so I'm going to go ahead and list the ingredients down below in the description, and you can make this yourself and let me know what you thought of it. And so I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and if you did, please hit like and subscribe to my channel, and that way, and the little bell, notification bell too, that will notify you whenever I add new videos, and I try to do that at least once a week. It has been a little bit difficult lately because between having company like I had, and then also I have 18 piano students right now, and I have been making trick-or-treat bags for them to give out because Halloween is this weekend, and I know that a lot of them are, you know, they're not going to be going trick-or-treating or anything like that, so I'm making them little treat bags to send home, and I think they will enjoy that. Okay, so you all have a really good day, and thank you so much for watching. See you next time.